Okay, Kohalayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakar Kodash. Want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. No, shalom, blessings and shalom to the hopeful elect, because we can't forget that, you know, plenty blessings, because we ain't a time. You need all the blessings you can get. So, my name is Lamadia from the New York camp. And as you see on the screen, the title of this video, if the Lord was born of a virgin birth, how could he be from the seed of David? Now, this virgin birth doctrine, if believed in this doctrine, it contradicts the prophecies of Yahushua. And the prophecies in particular is Yahushua descending out of the seed of David. So you can't believe Yahushua is of the seed of David and believe in the virgin birth at the same time. Only one could be true. And the one that is true is Yahushua being of the seed of David. And a lot of this misconception on Yahushua's birth is the lack of understanding of the laws of the scriptures, the lack of understanding of customs in the Bible, and going into root words, going into the Hebrew, going into the Greek, you know, to find out what was the usage of the word, so you could read the scriptures in a better content. So this doctrine or idea goes back to the Roman Catholics, which the Roman Catholics ideas was built around paganism. And they took scriptures to shape these ideas. So now when you read the scriptures, these ideas of paganism will jump in your mind. But when you read the scriptures and true understanding, you will know what you're reading. So the first thing I want to do, let's go to Micah chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. And it says, "Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He had laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting." So now I'm going to read it again. "But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah." Now Bethlehem is King David's birthplace. Now it says, "Though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me." I'll read again, Slack. "Yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me." Now that's going into Yahushua being born in Bethlehem. Now it says, "Yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel." So not only Yahushua or the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem, King David's birthplace, he also have to come out the lineage of David if he's going to be a ruler. Now it says, "whose going forth had been from of old, from everlasting." Now let's go to Isaiah 11, verse 1 to verse 4. "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse." Now who's Jesse? Jesse is the father of David. Now it says, "and a branch shall grow out of his roots." The roots is going to it's talking about his lineage. From Jesse to David unto one of David's sons. Because we have to keep in mind that David had multiple sons. But Solomon was the chosen son out of the royal line. So the royal line came out of Solomon. Now David had multiple sons, such as Adonijah, another one, Absalom. Although they were sons of David, but they was not the royal lineage of David. So the lineage will have to be out of who? King Solomon. So now let's say someone was claiming to be the Messiah, and his lineage went back to David. Let's say it went back to Adonijah, David's son. Would that be the Messiah? No. He wouldn't be the Messiah because it doesn't fit prophecy. Although his lineage will go back to David, but where it fails in prophecy is him being born out of the royal lineage, which will have to be Solomon. So let me read it again. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots, and the spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. Talking about Yahushua, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of fear of the Lord. And he shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Talking about Yahushua. Now next one, Jeremiah 23:3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, whither I have driven them. That's going to the Israelites. Now Israel was scattered through all countries, all parts of the world, the four corners of the earth. They became outcasts through different captivities. That's how they were scattered. But the Lord said he's going to gather them to the four corners of the earth. Now, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, where I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds. And they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more. The shepherds is talking about the teachers. The feeding is the scripture, is the knowledge. And they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper. Now, the Lord said he's going to raise unto David a righteous branch, meaning a lineage, someone going to come out the lineage of David, and a king shall reign and prosper. Again, so if this person is going to be king, he'll have to come out the lineage of David to be king. There was no voting system where, you vote a person in on the throne. This was a monarchy. So the only one that sat on the throne was of the lineage of David through Solomon. Right? So the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and he shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. That's Yahushua. Now, Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. Now, this is a vision that Isaiah had. So Isaiah seen World War III. Now the reason why he's saying for every battle of the warrior it was confused noise and garments rolled in blood, because the war he's seen to come was different from his present day. Because you had when empires went down, kingdoms went down through war. Like let's talk about Alexander taking down the Persian. If you do a Google search, it will be known as the Battle of Gamela. But the war to come is not going to be through that type of battle. So what Isaiah seen in the vision, he's seen this battle went up in fire, which was a nuclear fire. So I read again. For every battle of the warrior, it was confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this, now once you say but this, that means you're making it distinguish from wars from ancient time and the war to come. So it says, but this should be with burning and fuel of fire. That's World War III, a nuclear war. Verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Going into Yahushua. Of the increase of his government and peace there should be no end. Because the government is talking about the kingdom. Now the kingdom is going to be without end. And the kingdom is going to be in peace. Now, upon the throne of David. So again, that's Yahushua being of the lineage of David. And not just any David's son. It had to be King Solomon. That's why when you read Matthew, the 1st chapter, it goes into Yahushua genealogy. Because when you go into the genealogy of Yahushua, it will show that he descend out of King Solomon. Now it says, and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice for henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Now, Psalms 110:1. The Lord said unto my Lord, who's speaking this King David. And David is making reference to the man that's supposed to come out of his lineage. And David called him Lord. Because he knew in the spirit that he was over David. The Lord has said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. So why would David say this if this man was not supposed to be of his lineage? That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, now David, you know, he's talking about, he's prophesying of a man coming out of his lineage, but this person is supposed to be born of a virgin birth. Doesn't make any sense. Now read again. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thy enemy. Thy people should be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And this is David prophesying of Yahushua, because he's saying that Yahushua also, first he's going to be a king, but he also going to be a priest. He's going to be the high priest. Not out of the lineage of the Levites, or out of the lineage of Aaron to be a high priest. He's going to be under the order of Melchizedek. So this is all going to Yahushua. So there you go. These are all scriptures that covers Yahushua being born or Yahushua being from the lineage of David. She had to come of a regular birth. A man and a woman having sex. In this case, it would be Joseph and Mary. And Joseph himself would have to be of the lineage of David, out of the lineage of King Solomon. And again, like I stated earlier, just read Matthew, the 1st chapter. It gives you the genealogy. So with that, I'm going to end and close. I'm going to say, Kohalayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Shalom.